going on, everyone? Kelly Cavallero here, one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July and a good week so far, and it's good to be back here for another live show. Already got people joining in on the chat. We got Bonita here, Pamela's here, Peggy's here. Drop me a line, guys. Let me know you're here. Let's get this chat going today, because I have a feeling today's topic is going to be a little juicy. Just a couple things real quick. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share, follow. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That's right, we have a TikTok now. Posting videos on the daily there and on YouTube, so make sure to follow us there. Don't forget, if you don't like to watch the show, you can listen to it. We turn them into a podcast. They're on Apple, Spotify, Google, Radio Public, all sorts of places. So make sure... And that's going to be always fun to listen back when you get a chance. Also, don't forget, latest podcast just dropped last week, part 1 of a nice one, episode 15, with mine and John's controversial conversations. So make sure to follow us there. So today's topic is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And just to give you a little quick heads up, next Monday, part 2 of that long-awaited one gets released. That's right, Rebecca just said, when is part 2? Next Monday, July 10th, I'm going to be dropping part 2 of mine and John's latest 2-parter, episode 16, What Makes You a Professional in Our Industry. This one's a little bit longer than the first one, so make sure you get your popcorn and all your snacks before you start listening to it. It's going to be great. And while we're on great announcements, in case you didn't see it, it got announced the Saturday after World Dance Masters, Saturday, August 5th, the LDF Online Dance Foundation. That's right, doing a little one-day workshop. We got the likes of Fred, Shane, Willie White Sox Brown, Tim Johnson, JP Maz, Jose Miguel Baloque Vanya, doing workshops throughout the day. And yours truly, I think I get the best part of that. That afternoon, noon Eastern, 6 p.m. European time, I get to host a chat with Betty and Helen. We get to ask them all the fun questions. I get to host them. So you get to sit down with me, Betty, and Helen. Send in all your questions. We're going to get to ask them all the good stuff about CBAs, the Line Dance Foundation, all that good stuff. So make sure to tune in for that. You can join the group. Donate to the Line Dance Foundation to help support everybody out there. So today's topic, what is needed to be a line dance instructor? And I already got everybody's joined in now. Laura's here, strapping in for a doozy. Dee Dee's joined us. Rebecca's sneaking in from work, as she said. Jennifer's here. Dodie's here. My lovely wife is watching from work. And I love it. In case anyone saw the post yesterday when I made post this, someone posted right off the rip, and this is what baffled me about this. They said, first, please define the difference between a teacher and an instructor. Really? Really, guys? That's a question? Newsflash. There isn't a difference. Okay? So, I went to trustydictionary.com. The definition of a teacher, guys, a person who teaches, especially in a school, okay? Below on Wikipedia says, a teacher, also called a school teacher, formerly an educator, is a person who helps students to acquire knowledge, competence, or virtue via the practice. I don't see how that differs from the definition of an instructor, which says a person who teaches something. So if right off the rip, if you're worried about someone calling themselves a teacher or an instructor, there's no difference. Okay? It says right below here, and I'll scroll down. What is the difference between a teacher and an instructor? An instructor is a teacher. Bingo. There is no difference. Okay? No difference. So we're going to get that one right off the rip, right out of the way. We're going to pretend that never happened. As Kathy's joined us, Gary Bray. By the way, happy birthday, Mr. Bray. I get to celebrate with you in a couple weeks. Looking forward to that, getting to see you. And like you said, the roles have reversed. The last time I was cheering for you on the floor, this year you get to sit here and cheer for me on the floor, which, by the way, guys, if you didn't see it, it's been released. The competition schedule has been released. I shared it earlier. Go and check it out. Totally moved around some on the scheduling. There's going to be competition held in the Spanish Hall on Friday night, which I am super stoked about. Totally looking forward to that. So definitely go and check that out as the schedule has been released. But as we got people joining in here, Dee Dee said, you need money to buy music license and music and liability insurance. And sure, everyone carries those. And like Jim says, depending on the situation, you actually don't need those. Like I said yesterday in the post and the thing, insurance, music licensing, that all depends on the venue. That depends on what your responsibilities are. If I'm teaching in a bar, I don't need any of those. The bar should carry insurance for anybody that walks in the door, and the bar better be carrying a music license. If not, the bar's in a lot more trouble than anything else. You don't see instructors having to, when they get their contracts for a dance event, having to say, "Hey," the event director asking, "Are you up to date on your insurance or your music licensing?" No, that's up to the venue. Now, if you're renting a hall, that is probably a little bit, I know for a fact in most areas it's different depending on what the hall is used for. If the hall is regular, where it has different nights where they do stuff, I'm pretty sure they probably already have their music license. So on that aspect, I get the people that want to carry it if they're going to do private events. But again, location is going to depend on a lot of those things that you need. Insurance, another thing. You don't see every line dance instructor that goes to an event have to carry insurance. It all depends on the venue. What's already included. Perfect example: if you're teaching at a gym, if you're teaching at a gym that does aerobics and yoga and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, unless it's a smaller gym, on the aspects of that, they have Zumba classes. Okay, so that means they're already having insurance to be covered for that, for both the music and that. Dee Dee said, I'm required all my venues to carry liability. Yeah, there are a lot of venues that do. I had a venue when I taught up north that made me carry it. Very minimal. And it was a gym. It was a room thing, a room we used out of it, that even though they did aerobics. But the only place I can concede this doing it, and the YMCAs are way different on this, because they make you provide a certificate or some kind of certification that you are an instructor, would be a given of that. But like if you're being hired by an event, they're not going to ask, like, let's say Fun in the Sun. I don't see Jen asking every one of her instructors, do they have their own insurance and they have their own music licensing. That's just up to the event that's hiring you, right off the rip. As Jay said, I saw the release for the schedule and it hit me hard. It hit me hard. It was a little weird watching some of the flip-flops on that, for sure. And I haven't really even got to dive that much into it as I've been prepping for the show today. Kat's joined us. She said, hi, Kelly, great topic. Miss Joe Thompson-Szymanski has joined us. Hello, Miss Joe. Natasha's here. But yeah, for the music one is always the one that bugs everybody. And guys, I hate to break it to you. You can get a music license all you want. That's fine and dandy. The stuff it will cover you for the venue you're in. That's it. Most of the time, music licensing, especially the ones through the Fast Dance and stuff like that, are per venue. I know DJs that have DJ companies get different licensing per venue for when they bounce around, but it still doesn't. It doesn't cover if you record yourself. Your video is still illegal. Your video still can't get posted anywhere. Your live streams technically are still illegal because you're not paying. Your music licensing is only for your venue. Because I know this. When you go to apply for a music license, you have to put how many people are attending. Are you really going to put 10,000 people? Because I'm telling you, videos out there, that's how many you're going to reach. That's why if you see videos that get blocked, when you record yourself walking down the street and you walk down across a bar who has music playing out, that music's now in your video. You don't technically have the license for that video to have that music. They have the license to play it inside that bar. And that's where it comes into play. So, yeah, you can get a music license, but they're going to ask you how many people you're attending. I know that for right off the rip, they're going to ask you, that's going to be one of the questions, especially if you go through Fast Dance, National Fast Dance Association. I know that's one of their questions on it right there. So, Melissa K. joining us. I've been wondering about this. Thank you. No problem. I always like to talk about topics that always sometimes get a little miscommunication out there. But on that aspect, let's start at the beginning of what you need to be an instructor. Obviously, there's one thing, and my buddy Big Jim asked, am I teaching a dance or am I teaching a class? Well, and the wording exactly on it, to teach a dance or be a dance teacher, you still need the knowledge. You still need to know what you're talking about. And I think that's 80% of it. 75 to 80% of it is the confidence and the knowledge of what you're doing. That's going to play a huge part in it. Because if you're confident and you know what you're doing, you're going to be a lot more believable, and you're going to be, I don't want to use the words fake it till you make it, but everybody was a beginner at one point. Everybody was new to teaching at one point or another. Okay? They just didn't come out and be this perfect instructor. Like for example, someone that's in our chat, Miss Jo Thompson-Szymanski, not everyone woke up and was just teaching perfect. It took the time, the practice, the training. Okay, so anybody can be an instructor right off the rip. You can get up in front of a class and teach. My biggest pet peeve, if you're going to do that, I have one pet peeve when it comes to this, and this drives me nuts, and my close friends know this because I talk about it when I see it. Don't step on the stage with a step sheet. Don't do it. Don't. Guyton just said, you need to know stuff. Well, you do. You kind of need to know your stuff. Like Guyton said, oh my God, did it take a long time? My students just never wanted to listen. Well, yeah, that's a little bit different, G. That's a little bit different with some of your stuff. But it didn't take, nobody was the perfect instructor right off the rip. Nobody was. Okay? Rachel, Neil, Simon, Guyton, Joe, they've been doing it. At one time or another, all of them were teaching their very first class or were a brand new instructor. So I don't think it needs to be, you need to have 900 years of experience, because you're never going to get that until you're a rookie sometimes. You're never going to get that experience until you actually step on the stage and do it. Like Guyton said, nope, you're a human. We make mistakes. Exactly. No class. I can tell you right now, there's not a single instructor out there that has said every one of their classes have gone perfect. Not one. There's situations that arise. In Guyton's cases, there's a time where a microphone got tossed in Boston. It happens. But you could be an experienced dancer, and that's fine. But you eventually, you're going to be a new person. You know, everyone, you know, if someone wants to take a chance on you and let you teach, do it. If you want to do it. If you want to be that instructor, do it. It's going to take the practice, the repetitiveness. It's just like doing anything. When you're a kid, you want to learn how to ride a bike. What'd you do? You kept trying to ride a bike. You kept getting on and kept trying to turn the pedals to make it go. It's that simple. Did you stop trying to learn how to ride a bike just because one class went bad or one ride went bad? No. Everyone fell off a bike. Everyone has. You got right back up, got back on, did it again. It's that simple. Everyone's a rookie at one time in their life. As Guyton says, some of the best dancers I know can't teach. Some of the best teachers I know aren't the best dancers. I say that all the time. you know. Jim says, "Guy, if you want to try, I can get you a slot to try in 2 weeks." Tom just says, "I've been an instructor for 8 years now, and I'm still learning every class, every video instruction, every workshop, etc. I'm constantly evolving and hopefully become a better teacher each time." Exactly. That's bingo. Jen just said, "I spent hours learning dance by step sheet before we use videos." Yeah, I remember those days, and practice how to call it before my first teach. Right. How many times? There's two things that baffle me, that crack me up. How often do you practice your dancing? How often do you practice doing the dances you love? Like, you want to learn to dance. You practice it a lot. As Joe just says, never stop learning. You keep doing it. There's no different in teaching. Okay? You could keep trying, and just you get better. It will come. Eventually, everybody will have that light bulb moment. Well, one day it just clicks. It just clicks. It's something that you've been struggling with forever. Will just click. It's just like when you're learning a dance. Teaching and becoming a line dance instructor is no different. Okay, you just got to be okay with being in front of a ton of people. If you're in front of a big class, you know, I see some of the best classes where it's not that big of people. Those instructors, you know, they hone their craft with their friends, with the 8 to 10 people that took a chance on them. Don't knock those. Don't knock those 2, 4, 6 person classes. That's just those are some of the best, because you can try out new things and practice. So, or like John, or 5 people. Yeah. That's just some of it. John says, "I've had times I knew the stuff, then people in the class would become slightly annoying and throw me off my game. And I forgot where the tags, restarts were, and I had to grab the step sheet, and I hated having to remind myself to get back on track." It happens, yeah. Yeah, that is for sure. It does happen. I've seen it happen all the time. As Joe just said, every time I take a class from someone, I learn not only the dances, but tips on how they taught it. That's perfect. I'm doing so much time at events a lot of times. I don't have the time to actually get up and take a lot of classes, but if you don't think I'm listening, that's a different, like, listening to how Roy Verdonk teaches, or Joe, or Fred, or Shane, or Niels, or different little trips when I'm behind a video camera. It's the best time. I get to sit there and videotape 100 plus dances a weekend, not counting when we do live streams, and I'm watching them do a full teach, not just a quick walkthrough, a full teach, and I'm in there monitoring that. That's just incredible. But what I was trying to say before, and this is about the time thing, and I understand if people can do it. I'm just curious why they do it. They learn a dance, 1, the same day they're teaching it, and 2, they put out instruction videos the same day they learn it. I don't understand. Take the time to actually learn it properly. That way you don't have to do 400 takes. I understand only 1 take ends up getting put up, but come on. You don't have to rush it to get it out. You know, the dance is going to be around, I'm assuming. Take the time. As Peggy says, "I applaud the instructors because of the time it takes to learn dances and teach it. A lot of responsibility." Absolutely. As Jane says, "There's an art to bringing a good teacher. Not everyone has it. Some should back off if they can." This is true. I get it in some ways, but practice. Keep practicing. Get better at it. Don't just don't show up. Just don't show up and expect to wing it. Gary says, "The only time I refer to sheets while teaching is for competition dances." Well, yeah, that's a good reason to refer to it, and that is for exactly how the sheet is worded. But that is a different discussion. Yeah, I had a phone call in the other day about a dance coming up because the videos and the step sheet differed just slightly, and I wanted clarification, so I reached out to the person who choreographed it, and I asked for clarification, and that's what it is. And it's funny you bring up step sheets and wordings, because there's a post today about, and line dance on Facebook, about when is it okay for people to change choreography, and that's a whole different show, but that kind of made me think of that, Gary. Kat says, I think people are more interested in being in the limelight than actually focus on the dancers and the dance. It seems to be more and more as the years go by. Yeah, I can see that. Everyone wants that quick fix. Guyton says, can I ask a question about what you just said? Well, I'm going to. Why do so many people do a demo or a teach of a dance they didn't choreograph? Do they know exactly what the choreographer was meaning in every step of the dance? That's a great question, bro. That's an absolutely amazing question. That is an absolutely amazing question. I know we talked about this a while back, and that just goes on to, like, everyone always says, we want the instructor's videos. That's a bunch of BS. And I'm going to say it. That is a bunch of BS, because guess what? The views on YouTube tell a different story. The views on YouTube tell a different story. Because guess what? If that was the case, there would be videos out there that have more views than Line Dance Dallas, Grace's. Nothing against these channels, but if you look at the dance views, the videos that have the most views, it's the same 4 or 5 channels. Demos. I can understand demos sometimes because they do it with their class, but if you look at actual walkthrough and teach videos of what has the most, it's not the choreographers 99% of the time, I would say. Or like John says, they do it wrong. He said they don't do many of mine, so I guess I wasn't that good. Well, it's been a while, G. It's been a while. YouTube wasn't 100% popular back when you were still around. It was still in its baby days. It's getting better, though. It's getting better. Jim says worse. Worse when the choreographer already has one out there. Do I think they do Hey People better than you? Yeah, I do have to say, I did put the little demo. I dated it because half the people in the video no one recognized. It was great. Of Hey People back from Fitz years and years and years ago. I put up a little like 90-second demo of it on our channel for one of the throwback days, and people loved it. Could I tell you if there was an actual teach video of it somewhere? Yeah, probably back where some of my archives of all the videos that Carol and them gave me from back when CJ did stuff. What about the videos of your choreography done in mirror image? Yeah, that's a little little hard. I don't get it. I don't get why they just don't learn how to flip a camera around. Or I have seen it where teach dances of pretty much the same dance, just in a different order. People just, choreographers release it. I have seen that many of times. And that's even what's worse. As Aurora says, I love Rebecca's demos, though. Sorry, but I love her demos. I love all the demo videos out there, too. There's tons of great ones from overseas, from all over the place. And like Rebecca does them very, very tasteful, very, very creatively. But she's not doing walkthroughs. She's not doing teach videos. There's a teach video up somewhere of like say Guyton put a teach video up. There's not 47 more people. She's not doing another teach video of what Guyton already has out there. So that's what it changed. I find funny, but I remember a show a while back where people said we want the videos from the choreographers. We want people to stop doing demos, and I'm going to say you're wrong. I'm going to say you might say that in public, but the views on YouTube definitely say otherwise. That is for sure. We've compared it. We've looked at it. They're not even close. Not even close. So, Gary says, only channel I get videos from for Line Dancer Web other than the are from the choreographers themselves. Yep, that's a great thing. It's funny because like, and I know this is a little off topic to be an instructor, but it kind of is because we talked last week, and I know the week before. There are people out there that won't even teach a dance, if there's not a video out as well as a step sheet. What is it? What makes a line dance a line dance? To be a line dance instructor, what makes a line dance a line dance? Everyone for years has said a step sheet. Now all of a sudden, ever since COVID, it has to have a walkthrough video. You have to have a demo video. You have to have all this before I even look at your dance. Hi, Ed. Yes, I'm reading. I have comments from Facebook and YouTube going up in front of me. So I do see some of them. There are a lot of comments scrolling through here. So I'm sorry if I missed one. As Tom says, for many non-native English speakers, readers, demos are better and some step sheets are hard to read, and a video on how to do it is sometimes better. I'll agree with that. There are some. I know a lot of my YouTube videos, I usually try to turn the closed captioning on. On some of them, on the walkthroughs, the ones with music, it's hard, but the walkthrough videos, I try to leave the closed caption on, and I let YouTube put the words up, so that's on that. But again, back to the main topic here. What else do you need? What else do you need to be an instructor? People always are saying, "Oh, this person can't be an instructor. This person can't be an instructor." Why not? Well, why can't they? There's no certification that's needed anywhere unless you're going to go to a YMCA. Contrary to what some of the advertisements for certification processes, as Guyton says, a pulse. I had that texted to me yesterday from someone else. You're the second person that told me they need a pulse. But to be fair, I see a bunch of different ones offering certificates on being a line dance instructor, but why? There's no certification process. Like as Guyton says, I'm not joking. You can teach anyone if you know. Do you consider a walkthrough and teach videos the same? It depends. Ed, it depends. A walkthrough and a teach, it depends on I like to classify it into different categories. We at events, we shoot quick walkthrough videos. That way people can rewind. I think full teaches are good sometimes if the dance is stupid difficult. But again, I don't see the need of a 45-minute teach for a 32 count beginner dance. I really don't. I don't see a 40. It's not like it's a VHS from back in the day. You have the ability to literally slide your finger over the screen and rewind to see what they said or to look at what they're doing. Tim Johnson, I want a certificate. Peggy says knowing the terminology. I'll agree with that one, Peggy. I do think walkthrough and teach videos are different than demo videos. That is for sure. I think those are two totally different things. And I think there's a difference between a dance a long demo, where you're trying to show it like what an instructor does at the end of class, where they put the music on, they turn away from you, and you're dancing the song. And a demo video where you're showing off your dance. I think a long demo where you're doing the whole thing, if that's the case, turn and face away from the camera. If you're demoing your dance just to give people a little show of what it is, kind of like what we do at events, face the camera. So, as Jane says, it's an ability to impart the information effectively and creativity. I agree. Tim, you need people to teach or have people that would like to learn from you. Yeah, that's a big one. That's the biggest one, I think. Because if you're in an area or you're in an area and you're trying to start a class where there's not really an interest, then you're never going to build a class. You're never going to be able to have a teach. It's the same thing when you go to an event. If you don't have people coming that want to learn that style, it's hard for you to be an instructor at that event. You know, if you are in an area and you know there's already 4 classes on Tuesday nights within 30 minutes of you, don't start a class on Tuesday nights. Don't start a class on Tuesday nights at all. That's common sense. Like, perfect example. If I lived in Orlando, more closely Lake Mary, which was very close to the barn in Sanford, 10 minutes away. I was 30 minutes from Cowboys. Their dance nights are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, now they're on the barn. They have Wednesday nights. Would I ever try to start a class? No. Why? There's 2 locations that people can go dance 3 nights a week, on top of every other local class. So if I'd even consider doing a class in that area, you're looking at Mondays, Tuesdays, maybe Wednesdays, if it was back in the day before the barn started off their beginner. But, and that, JP's like, I'm not listening, but I'm just going to offer my services. Venmo me $150. I'll mail you a certificate stating you're a qualified dance instructor. Next problem. Oh, that's funny. How about I just buy you a drink? That's what. Cheryl, who's qualified to issue a certificate? That's a whole different bag of tricks. The topic, the basis of the show was not about different certification processes, because that can open a whole nother can of worms. Because that's just totally going to cause a huge issue whatsoever. So we're going to stick that to another show. And talk more about everything involved in being an instructor. As Todd just said, in Virginia, there are 2 to 3 options most nights. It depends on how close they are in Virginia, if that makes sense, Todd. If they're 15 minutes away from each other, that doesn't make any sense. If it's 2 hours, that's a different story. So, Vivian just said the best things, the best words ever. And Vivian Young, I love you for this, because I think this right here is probably the best statement I've heard. You also need someone to give you an opportunity to teach at an event. Bingo. Bingo. Right there. That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. Because if someone's not willing to give you that chance at a big event, and let's take away, let's get out of the notion. Let's get out of the notion that you have to win a spot. Let's get out of that notion right now. Okay? Let's get out of the choreography competitions where you win a teaching spot. Let's get out of that, because you can be the best instructor out there. You can be this awesome instructor, and because just on that given day, 5 judges on a panel didn't like the dance you put in front of them, that doesn't make you a bad instructor. That just means they didn't like your dance the best that day out of 60 people. That doesn't make you a bad instructor at all. I've been saying this for a while. I don't see 100% correlation of what one on the other means, but that's a perfect statement by Vivian Young. Thank you for that, because that's beautifully said. I'll send you my credentials. Tim says, I missed the beginning, but there is a definite difference between instructing at a local class and at an event. To an extent, yeah, you get a little bit more lenience probably at your local class. But it's a great way to hone your skills. I think sometimes this I've seen this in both overseas and here, where the learning curve, you could teach faster or slower depending on where you're teaching at. At a local class, if you're teaching a hard dance, you might have to go a little slower sometimes. You take that to an advanced class at Marathon, and they're learning it in 20 minutes. It all depends. Tim Perez, are we talking instructor at an event or just? I said in general, because a lot of the notion, a lot of people said beginning insurance and music licensing, and I debunked that because 9 times out of 10 you don't need those. Even you have to. You don't need those to be an instructor at a bar or something like that because they should have it. To be an instructor at an event, you just got to get lucky and the event director book you. You could be the best instructor out there, and an event director doesn't want to take a chance on you. You're still not going to get booked at that event unless you win a spot. That's not going to change. That's not going to change at all. Or Natasha said, or a bad choreographer, your dance didn't win that day. Yeah, it doesn't make you a bad choreographer just because your dance didn't win that day. Kat says, so true. Choreography has nothing to do with the instruction. Why winning choreography comps gives you instructor opportunities, I've never understood. Yeah, I don't necessarily understand it completely. I have mixed feelings on this on that one. I did compete in the USLDCC for many, many years. I support the concept. I do like the notion of supporting the next generation and the up-and-comers. I love that. I love what Mark does at his events. I love what Doug and Jackie do, the competition at Fort Wayne. I love all those opportunities. What I don't like is it depends on how you want to run them. And again, there's a line between amateur and professional, and I know John and I talked about part of that in our first half, and part of that in part 2 that comes out next Monday. So you're going to want to listen to that for sure. About the correlation between an instructor and a choreographer. So you're definitely going to want to see that. Kat says that is in their popularity vote, and whoever has the most people take the time to vote wins. That's not based on your teaching ability. I guess that was based off another comment that came up. Yes, did a cool thing this year and had people nominate a new instructor and people voted, so we'll get a cool new instructor at the event. Yeah, like that's what that Kat said. But that's like, again, okay, so you got a popularity contest. Okay. That's all that does. Does that make them a great instructor? No. Nothing against who won. Couldn't tell you. Don't know them. Don't know who was nominated. Don't know who was up for it. Todd said somewhat, but they are not going to get someone that really sucks at teaching. We don't know that. We don't know that. Because here, let me let you know a little secret. Your friends aren't going to tell you suck at teaching. Your friends are, if they're friends, I'll almost guarantee they're not going to tell you you really suck at instructing. They're going to vote for you because it's something you can win. They're not going to tell you suck at it. That's all it is. It's going to get shared. Does that mean they're a great instructor? It could, but that's not meaning anything. When it comes to a popularity contest like that, when it goes vote for the most for your favorite. Key word is there. Vote for your favorite. Right there. Ed said, choreography competition is a showcase of your talent and an intro for newer people in the line dance arena. I get that. I really do. Todd said the ones on the list all look pretty solid. Again, didn't see the list. Couldn't tell you. Jane just said, event directors hire instructors who bring people to their event numbers. On that one, though, we don't know if the other people wouldn't bring them to the event. You know, everyone got their shot somehow. Someone had to be that first person to give an instructor the chance. You know, someone had to be the first person to say, hey, I think Fred Whitehouse is going to be a great instructor. You know, someone had to be that first person that said, hey, I think Madison Glover is going to be a great instructor. Guillaume, Gary, all of those people. Someone had to be there first. An event director didn't turn around and goes, you know, I'm just going to hire this person because they gave him a chance. Jen just said you're also going to get tons of votes from friends or family that might not even be going to the event. They have no idea. Can we say the Crystal Boot Awards? Elephant in the room? Sound familiar? It's the same thing. I said it. I'm sorry. Not really. It happens. But it's true. When it's an open vote, not just of the attendees going, not just the people who are paying to take those classes, or that line dance, when it's an open vote like that, it becomes a popularity contest. Dustin says there's a local popularity contest here, best of Northern Nevada, and people are constantly screaming on social media and begging for votes. Most of them are not fit to be basic instructors, as things are taught constantly wrong. Popularity contests are just part of the game, really. It is true. It is true. I don't like the fact that stuff's being taught wrong. I know we talked about this. There was like I said, all over the place about dances being taught wrong lately, and there should not be a reason for that at all. If you're going to be an instructor, and this is back on this, what it takes to be an instructor, know the dance. Know the dance. Know the dance you're teaching. If you're going to step on the floor, know what you are doing. Know the dance. Key thing is, I've always been told this. Many people have told me this. Always have that one dance, whether it be a beginner, improver dance, in the back of your pocket that you know that you can teach on the fly. And for the love of me, people, all of you do not pick Shivers, okay? Don't just rely on Shivers, okay? Shivers is a great dance. I get it. I love it. Kudos to Mr. Zahorsky, because that's going to be the year's one. But bingo. So Sharon says I was biting my tongue, but Kelly said it. You're welcome, Sharon. I gave you your out. Ed just said, and this I love. Ed, I love this. I love this comment, Ed. I'm coming to an event. The list of instructors is just a bonus. It's a location in my schedule. Bingo. This is the whole, I go right back to this everybody wanting a schedule release. Yeah, Todd just said it might have a filter, but at the end of the day, the people running the event are going to select who they want. There it is. That's right there. So why hold the competition? Why hold the competition? Just pick who you want anyway. Dustin said, I worked an event with last year's best instructor, and she taught an entire 8-count tag in place of restart. While most wouldn't notice, it was embarrassing to watch. Yeah, that right there. You know, I understand you don't have to be perfect, guys. I do. I get it. You're always learning. But don't go up there and try to teach something you don't know. That's a big thing. I really limited to 3 things you need. To be an line dance instructor, I really think it's 3 things. 3 basic things. Knowledge, confidence, and passion. Because if you have those 3 things to be an instructor, everything else will come to you. You know, you don't need the best microphone that you carry with you. You don't need to have the best sound system, because it is what it is. You still could show up and not have power and have to run something from your phone or a portable boombox. You don't have to have the best venue. You don't have to have the biggest class. To be an instructor, you need 3 things: knowledge, passion, and confidence. Because right there, that's really all you need. There it is. Kat just said they hold the competition for marketing purposes. You promote the event for them, and they reach people they don't know. It's a good marketing idea. That's exactly what it is. Exactly all it is. Yeah, Jay said you're not setting your class up for success by teaching them wrong. That's a big thing. Yeah, you don't right there. Because guess what? If you teach them wrong and they go right 20 minutes up the road to a local bar and they're not doing it the same way that everyone in the bar is doing it, they're going to be like, wait a minute, what's going on? Kathy just added a good fourth, and I would agree with this. Even though it's a little hard sometimes, and depending on how long you have to teach, it's patience. Like Tim said earlier about the local class, and it all depends if you're in a bar. Patience is great, but you don't really have time to have patience because you got that short window. Like Brandon always said, he's got that 20-minute window where he gets to teach and get off the stage, teach and get off the stage. And that makes it hard sometimes to be patient because you have to get on. Joe just said a great one. I love this. Be others focused. As a teacher, you're providing a service to the folks who are spending their time, money, and energy to come to your class. It's a responsibility to respect that by being kind, professional, patient, make them feel welcome, have fun, and want to come back. Yes. All too often, and I see this a lot, and I will say it, it becomes more focused on the instructor when you're like, we can't have this event without so-and-so. We can't have so-and-so has to be there. We have to have them as an instructor. Why? The best thing is, guess what? 600 attendees are coming. Those are the most important part, not the one instructor. The 600 attendees are coming. And I can tell you this, and this was a topic I talked about with someone. You can't put a number per instructor. You can't turn around and say, well, this instructor is going to bring me 200 of these people. This instructor is going to bring me 200 of these people. No, they're not. You can't do that. You're not going to, this isn't 1990s to early 2000s when we're at the Line Dance Marathon and you got bonuses based on how many people came to your class. Guess what? They're already at the event though. Did they come to the event for that one instructor? No, they came for all the instructors. The fact that they showed up to that class was a bonus. Right then and there. You can't put a number per instructor. You can't. Okay? Because you have events that have 6 instructors that will get 400 people, and then you have events that get 15 instructors that get 400 people. Guess what? If you do the math, by mathematical terms, and if you want to be the person that puts a number per instructor, the one with 15 should blow the one with 6 and attendees out of the water. So, as Joe says, stay on the floor after your class is over. Yes, don't just try to run out the room. Don't just unless you're already over teaching, move to the side, and you're already over your time. Then maybe move to the side of the floor and talk to everyone. I have seen that. Just said, is that why they were counting attendees in each class? They count them because they want to just get a general idea of numbers in ballrooms. I see a lot of events that still do this, and it's a great thing just to see the number fluctuation. I know John Robinson and I were at his event with Karen in Kansas City, and we did this, and it was funny because there was 200 people at the event, but if you added up the 3 ballrooms at any given hour, it never broke 100. So you had 100 people out of half the attendees were never in a class, which it's things like that. As an event director, it's a numbers thing. So there's a bunch of that on that aspect, but you can't put a number. You can't put a number on it. You can't just go in and expect that each instructor is going to bring you so many people. I know a lot of event directors that use this for the local instructors to bring their classes, but then they turn around and like, well, your class didn't have all these people in it. Well, if they're a good instructor, if you're a good local instructor and you're getting your class of 30, 40 people to come, I'm telling them not to take with me. I'm telling them to take with all the other people. Why? Because they get me every week for $5 to $10. If they're spending $150, go take from the Joes, go take from the Simons, the Maddies, the Rachels, the Neils, the Roy and Fionas. Take with as many things. And this is another one as an instructor. Don't act like you own your students. Don't sit there and own your students at all. Promote that they go take other classes. If you do a class on Tuesday night and there's another class on Wednesday night, tell them, go. Another class on Thursday night, go. Class at the local bar, let's all go. Promote them taking from other people. Why? Because one, it's going to make it they're going to come back to you. They're going to come back. If you're not doing them wrong, they're going to come back to you. Two, it's going to make them a better dancer. And it's going to build their interest to want to keep coming back because they see all that. Kat just said exactly. Support your community. Jim says, preach. Yeah. It's exactly what you should be doing. If someone in your area is teaching on Monday and you don't teach till Tuesdays, show up to Monday class. Come, bring a couple of your students. Get a couple of your students to go. Support them. Tuesday, do your class. There's another one on Wednesday. Boom. Go up the road on Wednesday. Thursday, go to the local bar. When I was learning how to dance, granted, I was lucky. Wild Horse Saloon, they had line dancing lessons 6 nights a week with Haas Martin. The 7th night was two-step, West Coast swing, cha-cha, stuff like that. And as my dog is now going nuts in the background, I got to dance 6 nights a week. I got to go and dance 6 nights a week. I got hooked. I got absolutely hooked. When Wild Horse shut down and we had to go bar hopping, I remember Guyton and I and Natalie and all of us, we would literally go everywhere. Mount Dora, Orlando, everywhere. We'd go over to Daytona. We'd go every night of the week. We'd find some place. Lakeland. We were driving all over the place to dance. All over the place to dance. We'd go up to Mount Dora on a Friday night. We'd turn around on Saturday night, go to downtown Orlando to 8 Seconds. Following Monday or Tuesday, we'd be driving to Lakeland. Let's go dancing. We are always finding some place to dance. It didn't matter if Guyton was the instructor or not. We were going out, having fun, going up there, learning some stuff, and having a great time. And that's what it should be about, the community. It's like it says, community. Like Chris says, our class, not my class. Everyone contributes to whether the class is enjoyable. Bingo. Benita just said, I've always maintained that you can learn something from everyone. If you're in a class where the teacher is not doing a good job, it helps to make sure I don't make the same mistake they did. Exactly. Yes, Chris says we need to. Natasha said, I got hooked too, Kelly. I went to 4 different instructors a week before COVID. Exactly. Jen Cameron loved Haas Martin. Exactly. Right. Like back then, it didn't matter. It didn't matter who the instructor was. It didn't matter if we all got along. We found a night every week to go dancing. Granted, in the state of Florida, and especially around Orlando, that was fairly easy within an hour, maybe hour and a half. Shoot, I remember trips Guyton and we'd all take down to go down to see Jen in 3 hours south and go down dancing for the weekend at Roundup. It was a family. It was we bounced around and we danced. We found time to dance. And that's what it is. We promoted the next class. We promoted the locals. We would turn around and go to a different teacher. Don't just sit there and say you have to come learn from me. You don't have you let your students experience others. They're going to either love it or hate it. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, they're going to love it. And they're going to get hooked fast and they want to keep coming back and they want to learn more. Dustin, how does one deal with a place that's selfish and only cares about their bottom line rather than the community, though? That's a tough one because bars are bars and they're there to make money. Unfortunately, that one's a rough one. They are there to make money, sell drinks. I've seen way too many country bars get rid of line dance lessons and stuff like that due to this. Unfortunately, it's a roller coaster of a ride because either one, there's no happy medium in the line dance world, really. If you look at it, there's really not anyone from that. It's not a happy where they're 21 to 30 where everyone's drinking. You know, they're either underage and they're going there because they can dance all night and get away with it for $5 and they don't have to be on campus of their college. Or two, they're the older generation where they want to come early, learn lessons, don't want to deal with the smoke, and want to leave before 10 o'clock. So that's why I know a lot of places that will charge a cover for line dance lessons and people complain about it. You know, if people were buying more, they probably would get rid of it. I remember this back in the day at the barn, you know, but there's an $8 coverage for line dance lessons, and Trevor averages 40, 50 plus, and he's only 1 or 2 classes a night. So yeah. So as us, I don't fault bars that are there to make money. It's also the people involved that are not about community, but their own popularity at the end of the day. Yeah. As Jennifer says, and trust me this, guys, she runs a bar. Bars can't make money from water. Exactly. Bars can't make money from water. There's got to be that constant constant contribution. So if you see your local place that charges and they want to charge a cover, it's going to happen. You know, if people really want to come and dance and want to learn, they should be okay with paying a cover. They should be okay with paying. Now, don't make the cover outrageously high. I've seen bars where they'll charge it $15 because, granted, it has to do with their drink specials at night. If they do a sink or swim, an all-you-can-drink thing. I know at the barn, if you come between 7 and 9 p.m., which lessons are from 7 to 9, you get the option of go to either lesson. It's $8 for anybody who walks in that bar, and you're in there for the night. Now, granted, is it cheaper to come after 9? Yeah, it's usually $5 or $7, depending on if you're a guy or girl in the night of the week. So if you look at it, they're only upcharging $3. If it's a $5 admission mostly to get in, they're upcharging you $3. If it's a ladies' night and you get in free after 9 p.m., if you're a lady, you're paying $8. If you're not willing to pay $8 to take lessons for 2 hours, paying $4 an hour, I don't know what to tell you on that aspect. But if you look at it from a normal person perspective, if someone like me is walking in and it's $5 after 9 o'clock, if I decide to come 2 hours early, it's costing me $3 more to take lessons. $3, guys. Come on. You got to be okay with it. You got to be a little bit more open to it. And I understand that might be a little bit price difference here from here and overseas. Jennifer just said, there is a place out here that is $15. Drinks are still pricey and they don't offer food. I'll pay at a place that I can make a night of it and eat. It's a hard one. You're in California. That's a hard one. You're in Cali. Everything I noticed at least is more expensive out there. And that one is a rough one. That one's rough. But again, that's Cali for you. Yeah, and a lot of this is going to depend on your area, guys, too. You know, it might be easier. As Kathy says, we are $10 cover and average 65 to 100 people every Thursday and Friday night. That's at the Dallas Bowl, guys, in Tampa, Florida. Yeah, ranch is only $10 with great drinks and a full steakhouse. Yep, no, I get it. But again, they're making their money off food. There you go. There's your difference. There's your difference. They make a good chunk of their money off their food. That's why then. So most of that money is coming in from their food people are eating. So if they don't have if they don't have food at a location, they got to make their money from the cover charge and the drinks. That's why. So you got to, unfortunately, there's going to be the good and the bad. Some areas are going to be great. Some areas are going to suck. You just got to find that happy median. You know, you got to find that if you're going to be an instructor and try to start a class in a bar atmosphere or try to get thing. You got to find that happy median. That's what it comes down to. And Cass said, usually if they don't sell food, you can bring in your own. So, but yeah, that was a really quick hour, guys. Really quick hour. Can you believe it's already been an hour? As I watch the chats fly through here, all through this. So, but hopefully I covered a lot of information that that you guys at least enjoyed and understood. Cleared up some talks about insurance and music licensing, even though some locations still have it. To be an instructor, you definitely don't need one. Time flies when the topic is spicy, Laura says. Ed says, how can you market yourself as a line dance instructor? Social media. I know a lot of people don't like those terms, social media. We went off on a tangent. Well, it's still it's still involved being an instructor. There was little bits in there, but there was a little good amount of information about being an instructor in there. Melissa just said, I would love more resources for how to know which resources are most reputable for proper technique, the correct timing for the wizard step, and difference between different triple steps and mambos, etc. Before we wrap up, could you please share your favorites? Or maybe we could add this to the next one. There's a lot. YouTube, depending on what you're trying to learn, YouTube is a great resource, guys. Depending on who you look up, make sure you look up at someone reputable. I know Rachel has online lesson stuff where she breaks stuff down. I know Roy Verdonk does a lot of stuff online. Brian Barakauskas has West Coast Swing Online, which granted it's based around a lot of couples dancing, and he has a new app called Social Dance Online. But it's all the dances, which if you learn like couples lessons and stuff like that, he still breaks down good steps. And as Kat says, mentors are a good resource. Ask someone you trust. That is for sure. As Laura just said, Trevor Thornton does a great segment on Fridays. He does Free Footwork Fridays on Instagram. So definitely reach out. If you have any questions, Melissa, please reach out to us. I'll gladly share any information I have with getting you stuff like that. Grace, David, gotta catch up as I just logged in. Yeah, you're just a little late, Grace. Just a little late. But yeah, message us over at 7 Air Media. We'll gladly share some different people that you can go look up with different techniques and stuff like that. But like I said, guys, again, next week, Monday, July 10th, I am dropping the new episode, part 2. If you haven't yet, go listen to part 1. I promise you, it will be great. Promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. Go listen to some of the old Controversial Conversation episodes, get caught up. But we're dropping episode 2 next Monday, July 10th. It is going to be epic. But guys, until next Thursday for another live show, see ya.